Hello and welcome to the Pen Prescription. My name is Dr. Chris. I am a double board certified physician. I am a mom and I am a fountain pen enthusiast. On this channel, I will be reviewing a fountain pen after using it for a week in my day-to-day life. All of the pens and ink featured on this channel have been purchased with my own private funds, and all opinions are my own. As a disclaimer, this is not a medical advice channel. I will discuss the features and technical specifications of the pen being featured in each episode, my overall impressions, what I liked, what I didn't like, and we will take a look at a writing sample, which will also feature a different ink in each review. And so let's go ahead and get started. In this first episode today, we are going to be reviewing the TWSBI 580, specifically the TWSBI 580 ALR. So if you'll join me, let's go ahead. So I have a small collection of TWSBI 580 pens here. The majority of these are 580 ALRs, and I will show you my various pens here so you can get an idea. TWSBI tends to release new colors periodically, so these are a few that I've collected in recent years. So just to go through them in no particular order, this is a Diamond 580 Iris, which is a beautiful pen. This is a regular Diamond 580. You can see the diamond pattern in the barrel here, in the plastic barrel, which is very highly polished and really quite beautiful to look at. Hopefully you can appreciate that in the video. And the thing that differentiates a regular 580 from a 580 ALR is the fact that the grip section on a 580 is smooth, whereas the grip section on a 580 ALR is ribbed. So it's an aluminum section with ribs, so hopefully you can sort of see the difference there on the video. So just to go through some of the colors, just because I have them, so you can sort of see some different ones. Not all of these are still available for sale. Specifically, I think this is the 580 ALR purple. I believe this one has been discontinued and is no longer available. I have the 580 ALR Prussian Blue, which I believe is still available and is, as far as I understand it, a wildly popular color in this pen. This is the 580 ALR Navy, which I believe is also still available. As I said, this is the 580 Iris. This is the Diamond 580 Rose Gold. I believe it's the Rose Gold 2. And this is obviously not an ALR. It's got a smooth plastic grip section on this one. And then this is a 580 ALR Punch Pink. I also purchased very recently their newest color, which is the Yellow Sunset. And so I will do a little unboxing for you here today so you can join me in opening this for the first time. As I said in the introduction to this video, I did ink a 580 ALR and used it for the past 1 week in my day-to-day life, and there's a funny story behind why I own two of these, but maybe we'll tell it another time. But essentially, this is the one that I actually inked this week, so please do take my word for it. I did ink it for a week, but this one I just got, so we will unbox it as brand new, just as a little sort of bonus content for this video. So standard TWSBI box, cardboard with the label. This is a sunset yellow in extra fine. I tend to lean towards fine and extra fine nibs. So this is pretty standard packaging for TWSBI. It's nicely packaged. There's a little bit of literature on the top when you first take off the padding. So this literature goes over, the features of the pen and some instructions for care of the pen. And then you can take out the case, and we'll set these things aside. And what you have is the pen in a really quite lovely plastic display case. And then, let's see, we'll take these stickers off, which is sometimes difficult. And one might argue that I should have done that before rolling the camera, but luckily it's not too bad on this particular one. So lid comes off, and there's these little sliders on here that hold the pen in place. And here we have the TWSBI 580 ALR Sunset Yellow. So it has all the same features of the other colors. This is just their latest color. So, and there you have it. That's it's pretty straightforward. That's how they come. So I purchased this pen for $65 US, and that's a pretty standard price for this pen currently. All right, so let's get to the pen that I actually used this week. And as I said, that is the Prussian Blue with a fine nib. I don't know if you can sort of see the nib on that guy. This is inked with Robert Oster Monsoon Sky, which, you know, these pens are piston fillers, and they have a very high ink capacity, which some people see as a benefit. Most people see as a benefit. Some people see as a downside. But I always say, if you don't like large ink capacity, then you don't have to fill the pen all the way. The ink capacity in this pen is nearly 2 millimeters. So anyway, this is inked with Robert Oster Monsoon Sky, which is a Pen Chalet exclusive ink, which is really quite lovely, and we'll take a look at it in a little while. So the TWSBI 580 has a number 5 size steel nib, which is available in extra fine, fine, medium, broad, and 1.1 millimeter stub. In my opinion, this provides a very smooth and reliable writing experience. I would describe this nib as fairly stiff, but I don't mean that in a negative way whatsoever. I think it feels just sturdy and reliable, and it is quite smooth on the page. I had no problems whatsoever with this pen this week. No hard starts, no ink flow issues, railroading, burping, none of that stuff. Really smooth sailing all week long. So just to go over some of the features of the pen, we already talked about ink capacity, and we already talked about the number 5 steel nib. The pen cap on this pen is a twist cap, and there is an insert on the inside, which you can see there. It's kind of a gray tinged piece there, which prevents the nib and feed from drying out. TWSBI in general is known for having excellent sealing caps. Actually, that's maybe a good opportunity to tell the story of why I own 2 Prussian Blue TWSBI 580 ALRs. So one of these pens, I lost it, and I loved this color and absolutely loved this pen, and I lost the pen. My family was moving from an apartment into a house, and the pen had been missing for about 2 months, and I finally caved and ordered a replacement pen. And of course, you know, shortly after the replacement pen arrived, my husband found the other lost pen in one of his boxes while we were unpacking. Not sure how it got there, but anyway, that's why I have 2. And I will say that after this pen was lost for 2 months, sitting in a box, I opened it up and it wrote right away with no problems. It hadn't dried out whatsoever. I know there are a lot of stories in the pen community about pens that have been lost for a lot longer than 2 months, but that's just my own personal anecdote with regards to the reliability of these pens in terms of not drying out, etc. So you can see, you know, the clear barrel on these pens allows you pretty awesome appreciation for the piston mechanism of this pen. So as I said, you know, if you're not one for large ink capacities, which, to be honest, I'm kind of not. I like to change up my inks pretty frequently, and I don't write that much in my day-to-day life. So I do prefer cartridge converter in general because of the smaller ink capacity. But I will say that usually when I ink one of these pens, I just don't ink it all the way, and that solves that problem. In this case, I did ink it all the way just for the full effect so that you all on the video could see, you know, the ink sloshing around and whatnot. Although this is quite a dark ink, so I'm not sure how well this is going to come across on camera. As far as the aesthetics of this pen go, the TWSBI 580 is a demonstrator, as we said. It tends to kind of attract attention of other people because you can see the ink sloshing around on the inside. You can see the piston mechanism kind of doing its thing. And so that's kind of nice if you are the type of person who would love to be asked about your writing utensils without prompting, which many of us are. So that's nice. The pen itself is a pretty good size. It's a substantial girth without being too bulky or cumbersome. I would say that I have pretty average size hands. Side note, surgical glove size 6.5. And this pen is very comfortable for me. It's 142 millimeters long when capped. I don't post my pens. But it seems to me that you could post this pen if you wanted to. It's not a super secure post, but I think you could post this if you wanted to, although as I said, I don't tend to do that. Here are some size comparisons with other pens. So here is a Lamy Safari. Picked a couple pretty common pens to compare this to, so hopefully you have an idea of how big these other pens are if you have some experience with fountain pens. So this is a Lamy Safari, and here's a Pilot Metropolitan, so you can kind of get an idea of the size. It's pretty similar in size to those pens, perhaps slightly girthier than the Metropolitan and maybe a little girthier than the Safari as well. I would say that the Diamond 580 ALR is a fairly lightweight pen. It's 27 grams total dry weight, 10 grams in the cap, and 17 grams for the body. But I did not feel that this in any way has a cheap feeling to it. I think this pen feels very high quality, and in general, this is one of my favorite pens. It is a lovely addition to any collection, in my opinion, and I think you know, it's a very nice piston filler pen with a lot of desirable features at a pretty reasonable price. So, that all being said, we can take a look at a writing sample that I did earlier in the week as part of my testing of this pen, and that is just some long form sort of text here. This is the ink Robert Oster Monsoon Sky, which is really a lovely ink. So this is sort of an opportunity for me to do some slightly long form writing to get a feel for the pen with longer writing sessions. And you know, I did a few ink splotches here so that you could appreciate some of the properties of the ink. Hopefully you can sort of see this ink. You know, you don't really see a whole lot of sheen coming out of the pen. Again, this is a fine nib, so take that with a grain of salt. But I didn't see a whole lot of sheen in the ink, but on the ink splotches you can see there is a little bit of perhaps a red leaning sheen in the ink splotches, which is quite lovely. But yeah, I thought it was a nice ink. It's got some nice shading. And overall, I really enjoyed writing with it. This is an Endless Recorder notebook with 68 GSM Tomoe River paper, just for your reference. All right, so to wrap up our session here today, I will go ahead and approve this pen for use to treat your fountain pen obsessions. So we'll go ahead and fill out a prescription pad for you here. All right, well, thanks for joining me today to discuss my impressions of the TWSBI 580 ALR. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please feel free to hit the like button and feel free to subscribe to the channel. Also, please leave your comments below. I would love to hear feedback, suggestions for future pens that you'd like to see reviewed. And comments are always appreciated. So anyway, thanks for joining me today, and hope to see you again soon.